It's so lit. There are 2 weeks until SummerSlam. I'm already agitated. Over the course of these coming weeks, I've already did a 30-minute video on Raw that I rarely do. Most of my Raw reviews go up to 25 minutes, so I can go over everything because it's a 3-hour lifespan. Someone suggested me, I'm not gonna put his name here because I know him personally, a 10-minute video to go over 3 hours of wrestling content on primetime television. How can I not go over that in excruciating detail and how much shit I missed? I'm not gonna be like, Stone Cold Steve Austin came on Monday Night Raw. One half of the Devon was there, of the Dudleys were there. Barely most of the legends came. It was literally alumni. They accounted legends as Eve Torres, Caitlyn, and the Boogeyman, and the Hurricane. The only assumed Hall of Famer that should have been inducted was Rob Van Dam. And most of the actual Legends fans would actually pay to see weren't even on the show. And it was a 3-hour program. And most of the finishers were false finishes or random squash matches. None of that was supposed to extend the story. None of it was supposed to extend a plot or actually have some fun character moments. They literally made a Raw for a reunion show that had no reason to exist. And they didn't even do anything special for SmackDown because fuck SmackDown. I don't know how you fuck up SmackDown 1000. The 1000th episode of SmackDown wasn't shit, and I'm sure if they did a SmackDown reunion, all they would have is John Morrison maybe show up, or Johnny Hennigan, or Johnny Tucker, or whatever the fuck his last name is going to be each time he shows up. Funaki, Bob Holly, FBI, Super Crazy, and Rey Mysterio all doing the fucking human centipede with each other, because that's all they have. Or Batista. People keep forgetting Batista was a major role on SmackDown. Or John Cena, the guy that actually started up on SmackDown. Literally made it popular, one of the parts that made it popularized to watch. Other than the extreme Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, and Edge, and Rey Mysterio and all the work rate. Brock Lesnar and John Cena and The Undertaker made that shit fun to watch. Those guys were just pieces for a mid-card. Literally, all those guys were chasing the tag titles, and only later in the years, only Benoit and Angle were going for the WWE Championship when Edge was drafted to Raw, and majority of his heel heat and developed to be a main eventer on Raw. He was an Extreme World Champion. He literally got popularized for the biggest betrayal in wrestling history after Lita cheated on him. Lita cheated on Matt Hardy with him, and Matt Hardy knows Edge personally. That's literally the biggest angle on Monday Night Raw history. And it was a shoot work angle. And they don't even want to, put up real SmackDown legends on this. So they're actually trying to develop a storyline for a pay-per-view that's coming in the coming weeks. That's going to be in Canada, and that's going to be in 2 weeks. You need to develop storylines. I don't care about Lesnar and Rollins. I don't care about Kofi and Randy. The women's titles are already irrelevant. They made a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship that hasn't been well introduced, thanks most of their rosters injured. And then they had this segment that Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville talk somebody into, I think Shane McMahon, into having a women's tag team title shot the next week on SmackDown. Not tonight, the next week on SmackDown. Even though it's supposed to be heel against heel, thanks to the Iconic or chicken shit heels. And Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are whatever the fuck. Sonya Deville's a dyke and Mandy Rose is just any other blonde bombshell that you've seen in WWE before. It's literally the biggest pattern that happens here in wrestling. There's a Trish Stratus, there's a Kelly Kelly. There's a Natalia, there's a Charlotte Flair, there's Amanda Rose. There's literally every fucking blonde every generation. Nothing changes. And Kevin Owens had a segment opening the show off with Shane McMahon calling him out here so he can get a match in with Kevin Owens, and he promises to take care of him in SummerSlam. And he wanted to get guest announcer, a guest referee, timekeeper, and a guest ring announcer. So that would just be Kevin. Shane McMahon is the ring announcer. Elias is the timekeeper, and Drew McIntyre is the referee. I don't even know why they hang out with him still. They're supposed to be his muscle bodyguard, not his comedy duo. Or else he could have got the faggots he got back in 1998 when he was part of the corporate angle. None of this makes sense. They're supposed to be your muscle, not your fucking best friends. Like, I understand they're sucking up to you because you're a McMahon, and then just using these guys as like your fucking stooges. Then the match happened and ended off a no contest because Kevin Owens knew what was planning and Roman Reigns knew what they were planning as well because Kevin said he would mop the floor with Roman anyway, and they're like, "Oh, you think it would be cool?" And then they ended off in no contest because of course they would. Then Randy Orton accepts Kofi's challenge because somehow, all because Kofi defended his title a few times, means he has the automatic right to challenge an opponent, and Kofi brings back a feud from 10 years ago. Yes, I get it. Kofi was forced back into the mid-card when he was feuding with the Legacy over that time, and that was literally the biggest thing he did over the course of his career, because until then, for 10 years after, he was like a 3-time tag team champion, like 7-time or 8-time tag team champion. He's won the Intercontinental and United States Championships numerous of times and made huge memorable moments for the company. And all we do is give him the WWE Championship, and it makes that feel like a mid-card belt for the last several months, as it already was, with AJ Styles holding it and facing off against Nakamura. And now the only hint of legitimacy is facing off Randy Orton in SummerSlam. All because of some skirmish that happened 10 years ago. And they went over this generic promo that he won this in the Royal Rumble, and what they did in Madison Square Garden, prove I can beat you, like 10 years ago. If you said that I pinned you back at Madison Square Garden a few weeks ago, then we would be a different tale. Kofi Kingston brings back shit that is so unnecessary. He has no character. He has no interest except that he's part of the New Day, and he's using catchphrases that the New Day uses. Just so he can get a bit of a crowd reaction, because that's the only thing Kofi got. If Kofi wanted to keep it consistent, he still could have did the boom boom shit, even though he's not Jamaican. And he's like, it ended with a failed attempt for an RKO, and they got to Trouble in Paradise. And then we devalue Samoa Joe even more after he lost to Roman, and then he gets to get pinned by Kofi? He's supposed to be your most dominant threat in the company after coming from NXT. This guy literally beaten Kurt Angle before, back on Impact. But we're going to devalue those facts and make it feel like he never had that much experience in wrestling when we notice he has a 20-plus year career. Thanks, WWE monitors all that shit, but he's like, but Kofi's the WWE champion. Like, you can't end it off anything else except disqualification. Oh my god, somebody actually typed Orion instead of Orton, interrupted Joe's attempt to sneak up and hit him with an RKO before Orton turned around. Until Orton turned around and dropped the Trouble in Paradise on Kofi Kingston. So he literally interrupted the match just for that to fail, and Kofi Kingston I don't know how a fail of an attempt triggers an interrupt disqualification. I know it was by contact, but it's still a failure to attack somebody. So I don't know why they had to disqualify the match there. I understand the ref was there to see it, but whatever, I guess. The show's already better than Raw because at least they had promos progressing storylines. I mean, a feud. and decent matches. Because Samoa Joe and Kofi was decent. They wrestled so many times before, but Samoa Joe's like, how come I don't deserve a rematch? Orton just gets picked for the world title. I don't even get my deserved rematch after what happened at Stomping Grounds. Make ongoing storylines. Make Samoa Joe a premier threat. Make him try to think like he's hunting down something. Make these wrestlers have a fucking chase to something. Or at least a role. Something. After getting rid of the GMs and shit, Raw, SmackDown just lose meaning. Nothing ever has a domino effect anymore. It's either you're done with the feud, you don't even hear about the guy, and the guy you just faced goes back rushing to the mid-card and gets his ass kicked. And then some spontaneous reason, 7 months later, he just gets the world title shot again. After no storylines progressed on this. That's pathetic. Then Nakamura just faced off against Apollo Crews at a pretty decent matchup. It was all right, but we know Apollo was gonna lose. He always loses matches against heels. Like nothing develops Apollo as a big threat. He doesn't even have to have a championship opportunity because he's already like a bland jigaboo jumper, and literally can just do a better shooting star press than Billy Kidman. He did a couple of good flips. Nakamura hit him right off a reversal for a Kinshasa. The New Day were on commentary for a majority of the afternoon. It was decent because we at least had, other than I think it was Corey Gray. Somebody's father died. I think it was Saxton. So we had no abusive black people on the commentary team, or it was Corey Graves, and they were trying to act super smart out, even though it was fucking David Utunga on commentary. Fucking David Utunga, the Nexus faggot. And it ended off a second Kinshasa off the head, so it was a pretty decent matchup of the fucking night. I don't care what anybody says. And then the Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville storyline, how we made these belts already irrelevant as it is. She just issued a title shot for the next week, and we didn't even see the segment when Sonya Deville talked to Shane McMahon or what she issued or anything. This dyke bitch has no character, other than she's just friends with Mandy Rose. She's trying to get that kickboxing gimmick, and I got a title shot for next week. Yes, next week. Title shot for next week. Why was that written? They either forgot their lines or that's literally how they scripted it. And for belts and for two women that were picked up on NXT, do absolutely nothing with the new belts they were given. Thanks, barely there's any women in the roster. Most of them get injured, or most of them don't even have charisma or their own fucking reason to be a tag team. Thanks, you already have 2 championship belts that are barely even talked about or anybody else are willing to chase. You have 1 singles title. What can make that different? A tag team championship that doesn't have to exist. And you see my aggravation for this show. These belts were like introduced in Elimination Chamber, not a tournament. Elimination Chamber. If we really want to expect the women to be popular, we're going to be doing every first ever Elimination Chamber women's tag team match for the new WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. The only difference is it looks different from any other belt, other than they could have made a minuscule replicas of the goddamn Circle Championships, but make the background pink! And that was the worst segment maybe of the fucking year, thanks to Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville can't even have on-screen chemistry except they hug a bit. The Iconics didn't even have a promo, being like, oh, they issued a title shot with us? Well, guess what we're gonna do? Something. Then we had Dolph Ziggler interrupt Miz TV when Shawn Michaels was guest appearing on it. And the best segment was literally Dolph Ziggler being disappointed that uh, Shawn Michaels returned after he had a great last WrestleMania match, his last match ever, a great retirement speech, becoming a Hall of Famer, and literally cementing himself as a legend. And he came back in the ring. Dolph Ziggler was disappointed, and he hates all that crap. All I just want to see is less Dolph Ziggler and less Miz when he doesn't even do anything important. Wasn't this guy a world champion? Why doesn't he want to repeat that? It's literally easy pickings for anybody to be world champion. It's Kofi Kingston holding the WWE Championship. That's like going up to career mode. You sim a few years, you try to play, and you're like a 91 overall. And what's the best pick for you to face as a champ, as a number one contender? Oh, Kofi Kingston randomly won the WWE Championship. I'll just challenge him on Raw. And seriously, it's that simple. And you just want to grab weight for Dolph Ziggler and Miz to have these segments, even though Miz be on Raw for some apparent reason, while Dolph Ziggler's just sitting around just waiting for Miz, like a little child on the couch waiting for his father to come back from the post office for 10 years. It's just for them to have a passable feud at SummerSlam. I don't care about this because I've seen these guys fight multiple times for the Intercontinental Championship. Multiple times on Raw and SmackDown. And you're telling me the best thing is a blow-off feud? It's like, you do something. It's already cringe enough seeing the Miz become a babyface. It's already weird enough seeing Ziggler play the heel, because Ziggler can play an annoying heel, but he can do decent as a babyface. But he does more of a faggot as a babyface, so he's gonna play heel most of the time. Just for Shawn Michaels to just say he'll be a second-rate Shawn Michaels. When he's not even a second-rate Shawn Michaels. Marty Jannetty plays a better Shawn Michaels, and he doesn't even have a personality to boot. And then Amber Moon just faced off against Charlotte Flair, and just wins off interference off Bayley. If this wasn't even a championship contenders match, like Charlotte gets into a triple threat match with Bayley and Amber Moon, it's just for a reason to devalue Charlotte, because he wins the women's titles a lot of time. But interruption by the women's champion, so that just proves his babyface helping each other out, and is treating Bayley as like a crony to Ember Moon, even though Bayley has nothing to do with Charlotte over these coming years. Over these coming months. She was literally chasing Becky Lynch and goddamn Ronda Rousey for the coming years. So that was pointless. And then Charlotte Charlotte just had a promo being like, "This is a travesty that you're ignoring me. I'm the legend of the women's division." What the fuck? I didn't care because I hate seeing Charlotte sometimes just overdoing it with no rhyme or reason to just have a championship opportunity. She doesn't even have a blow-off feud. Nearly everything she gets is literally a championship opportunity. None of them are for a storyline. Next is Bray Wyatt in Firefly Funhouse mode over the Finn Balor attack he had the week before the Raw reunion, when Finn Balor won a match on Raw and got a kiss, Abigail's kiss. I mean, Sister Abigail, and right in the middle of the ring, in the middle of the show. And it's like, oh, what kind of beef that you have with Bray Wyatt? It's like, Bray Wyatt's a fiend. He's an abomination. Like, it's the same crap, except he's doing it with a smile on his face in a more PG way. Like, he already doesn't have a faction with him anymore. He's just attacking people. He attacked Mick Foley. That's like attacking a broken stick now. Every torn piece of flesh and Mick Foley's body tells a story. It's like, we know that he's gonna do these spots, and we know as soon as he steps up, the only pain he's gonna feel is as soon as he talks. And just watching this segment with Finn Balor, it's like I don't. And with the interviewers just doing this in the middle of the ring instead of like backstage, I really hated this because I hate them trying to waste ring time just for a reason to be like, oh, this is an important feud, even though they feuded last year. It's worse that Finn Balor has been the most relevant Intercontinental Champion. How much time and like shit, fucking Prince Devitt got after being signed here for the last few years since 2014. And guess what he done over the coming years? Nothing. He had a long reign with the NXT Championship. That didn't do shit for him. It took him 24 hours to lose the Universal Championship after a shoulder injury. Like he was going to have a memorable reign. He was maybe going to face Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins again. And guess what's going to happen? Nothing thinks Finn Balor can't tell a story. He held the Intercontinental Championship for several months and traded it several times. Several times with Bobby Lashley. What was the feud? They fought. Leo Rush was in it a few times. They fought. Leo Rush was in it for a few times. Just to be like at least Lashley had a narcissistic gimmick, and then they blew it all off just for him to feud with Braun Strowman. And Finn Balor over the coming years, they keep calling him extraordinary, yet he keeps doing the same moves, and it has no character. How can you be called an extraordinary person when you have no fucking character? That disgusts me. Just for Bray Wyatt to make the same corny promos, except with a more chippier attitude? Who the fuck is going to watch that? I obviously want to see she-male Charlotte Flair get pushed up the ladder for another women's championship over the coming weeks. With Andrade literally fucking her so he can just get like more into the main event scene. A no contest main event. At least Shane McMahon's at least conducting himself to be a heel, but he keeps having these storylines of wrestling feuds that go nowhere. He pinned Roman, and Roman doesn't want to get redemption over anything. He got pinned off a non-wrestler. The Miz wanted a blood feud, and he takes it like he's not a wild card. They keep making this wild card shit when I ask them, seriously, get rid of the brand split. It's not doing anything. Last time, a few years ago, back in like 2015 to 16, to early 2016, we complained that there's not that much talent. Not that much talent that's blowing. We're not developing a lot of guys. It's nearly the exact same guys every week. And we should take a few of the NXT dudes, see what we can do with them over the coming years. Bring a cruiserweight, bring one minor championship in, just so we can have a bit of a change up. Maybe the cruiserweight or hardcore, something to change it up. Now there's too much wrestling content for everybody. Everything has a belt. And the only relevant title is the 24/7 Championship. There's no in between. They give back Brock Lesnar the Universal Championship, and he barely even defends it. Nobody challenges him for the Universal Championship. What's the point of doing this? Just to give Seth Rollins a reason to be over, and we complained about Roman Reigns. And now we're trying to do this bullshit with Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens taking it like he's really trying to be a inspirational babyface and being like nobody's getting over when it's literally you, Shane, Ember Moon, Charlotte Flair, Finn Balor that's still irrelevant. Like nothing changed. Change it up. This show sucked. This gets a 4 out of 10. This was way better than SmackDown. Because it had one watchable match, and they were continuing a fucking feud. They were trying to get ready for a show. They were developing matches for a pay-per-view. I get it at least. Raw just did that for a ratings trap. They weren't doing any of that bullcrap just so they can sell you, just so they can, build build up nostalgia. SmackDown were getting ready for a pay-per-view that they knew they needed guys to get ready that are reliable and can get butts in the seats. Because at least like we're gonna see like a catching RKO off of Trouble in Paradise. Something. What was Raw doing? Oh, Rollins getting so ready. He's everything is either I'm an underdog, I came from the indies, or you can't beat me because I'm smaller than you. What's with this repetitiveness over these coming years? Like there's no other unique storylines. We already fucked up Samoa Joe facing off against Roman Reigns. And Samoa Joe beat him before in Backlash. So what's the excuse of making them fight now? And now the SmackDown review has went way over time. Because there was a lot of crap I had to get over my chest. And now this it had to be uploaded so late. So obviously I'd rather do anything else than review SmackDown. And that's not because I hate WWE. I'm just sad about WWE. I'm sad. And that's a tough thing to say. You can't say you're disappointed off something you loved for years. I love pro wrestling. There's nothing gonna make me stop watching it. There's nothing. I'm gonna catch like maybe like if an Impact show comes on, I might watch a bit of Ring of Honor. I've been watching a bit of the G1. I don't keep track of the points. I just watch the match because that's what I'm there to see. Character, storyline, and a decent match. At least New Japan has a time limit for the G1 when it comes to matches, so they don't overstay their welcome. So every match can be 30 minutes and 5 stars. We need something related to Kenny Omega and Tetsuya Naito. They had a near 6-star match. It's obviously so iconic when you can barely even remember a move, and when the premier wrestling fans are in the western part of the world. Why haven't anybody else heard of that? I swear I go to Japan and they're not even going to tell me I'm going to beat someone's ass like Tetsuya Naito or Kazuchika Okada or Hiroshi Tanahashi. These guys been here for 10 plus years. It's already tough enough that I have to do this next week and maybe try to change something up. Because by God, has this been a irritating week for me. Not doing just Raw reunions, just a lot of personal stuff in general. And hopefully I get this done, I get a cool head, and I get ready for next week. Because this already been a tough act of, this already been an easy act to follow for the coming weeks watching until SummerSlam. And I'm supposed to be excited for SummerSlam. That's not even my favorite Big Four pay-per-view. My favorite Big Four pay-per-view is Survivor Series. But I always like SummerSlam because I always like the hot heat. I always like an upstanding popping show like SummerSlam. That's supposed to be the biggest party of the summer. WWE Universe, love it. Oh my God, it is top trending. Shut the fuck up. For one time, shut up. And I thought the New Day would be at least better because we at least have the wrestler's perspective. They can't even give us excruciating details in a match. How a wrestling move feels, how it's supposed to work, or the submission on it. How it feels and what part of the body. It's so simple to be a commentator. Especially when you're the guys who do this every week and you can't even call a simple move. This is already my review. I'm done. I don't want this to hit over 30 minutes. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. It's always good to hear you guys talk about the show. Thank you for watching, everybody.